Hello, future medical professionals. Welcome to an exciting journey into the intricate world of human biology. Today, we are diving deep into chemical coordination and integration, focusing specifically on the pituitary gland. Often called the master gland, it plays a pivotal role in controlling countless bodily functions. We'll explore its secrets across 4 levels of understanding, from basic concepts to advanced competitive insights. Get ready to unlock the mysteries of this tiny yet mighty organ. Let's kick things off with the basics. What exactly is this master gland, and where does it hide? The pituitary gland, often dubbed the master gland, is a small, pea-sized structure weighing about half a gram. It's strategically located at the base of your brain, nestled within a protective bony cavity called the sella turcica. Despite its small size, its influence is immense. It has two main parts, the anterior pituitary, which is the front part, and the posterior pituitary, which is at the back. Each of these parts has a unique job in your body. The pituitary gland's primary function is to produce and release hormones. These hormones act like chemical messengers, controlling the function of many other endocrine glands throughout your body, such as your thyroid and adrenal glands. It also releases hormones that directly impact specific tissues. For instance, the growth hormone, or GH, secreted by the anterior pituitary, is vital for your normal body growth, especially for your bones and muscles. Any imbalance in GH can lead to significant growth disorders, highlighting its critical role. Time to test your understanding of the basics. Think about these questions. First, can you recall which part of the brain the pituitary gland is located near? Second, why is it often called the master gland of the body? And finally, name one hormone released by the pituitary gland and briefly state its primary function. Take a moment to ponder these before moving on. Now that we've covered the fundamentals, let's delve a bit deeper into the specific roles and connections of the pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary, also known as the adenohypophysis, makes up about 75% of the entire gland. This glandular part is a true hormone factory, producing and secreting 6 major peptide hormones. These are often called tropic hormones because they stimulate other endocrine glands to act. Key hormones include growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid-stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and the gonadotropins, follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Each plays a distinct and vital role in regulating various bodily functions, from growth to reproduction. In contrast, the posterior pituitary, or neurohypophysis, doesn't produce its own hormones. Instead, it serves as a storage and release site for 2 crucial hormones synthesized in the hypothalamus, oxytocin and vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH. These hormones are transported down specialized nerve axons directly from the hypothalamus to the posterior pituitary, ready for release into your bloodstream when needed. This neural connection highlights a unique aspect of its function compared to the anterior lobe. The hypothalamus, located just above the pituitary, acts as the ultimate control center. For the anterior pituitary, the hypothalamus releasing and inhibiting hormones into a specialized blood vessel network called the hypothalamic hypophyseal portal system. These hormones directly stimulate or inhibit the anterior pituitary's hormone release. For the posterior pituitary, the connection is even more direct. Hypothalamic neurons extend their axons straight into the posterior pituitary, releasing oxytocin and ADH directly into circulation. This intricate control ensures precise hormonal regulation throughout the body. Let's consolidate your knowledge with these questions. First, what is the primary difference in hormone production between the anterior and posterior pituitary? Second, name 3 hormones secreted by the anterior pituitary and briefly state one function for each. Third, explain the role of the hypothalamic hypophyseal portal system. Fourth, which 2 hormones are stored and released by the posterior pituitary, and where are they actually synthesized? And finally, describe the function of ADH in the body. Ready to elevate your understanding? Let's explore the intricate regulatory mechanisms and clinical implications of the pituitary gland. The regulation of anterior pituitary hormone secretion is a masterpiece of biological control. Neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus produce specific releasing and inhibiting hormones like GnRH, TRH, CRH, and GHRH. These potent messengers are released into the hypothalamic hypophyseal portal system, a direct vascular highway. They travel straight to the anterior pituitary, binding to specific receptors on target cells, either stimulating or inhibiting the release of pituitary hormones. This direct and efficient communication ensures rapid and precise control, bypassing dilution in the general circulation and allowing for finely tuned physiological responses. It's a prime example of neuroendocrine integration. In contrast, posterior pituitary hormone secretion involves a different pathway. Oxytocin and ADH are synthesized in the cell bodies of neurosecretory cells, specifically in the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. These hormones then journey down the long axons of these neurons, through the infundibulum, and are stored in the axon terminals located within the posterior pituitary. When the hypothalamus receives appropriate neural signals, these stored hormones are swiftly released directly into the systemic bloodstream. This neural control allows for rapid, on-demand release, crucial for functions like childbirth and acute water balance regulation. Homeostasis, the body's stable internal environment, is largely maintained through feedback mechanisms. Negative feedback loops are paramount here. For example, when the anterior pituitary releases TSH, it stimulates the thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormones. High levels of these thyroid hormones then signal back to the hypothalamus and pituitary, inhibiting further release of TRH and TSH, thus preventing overproduction. While less common, positive feedback also occurs, a classic example being oxytocin release during childbirth, where contractions stimulate more oxytocin, amplifying the process until delivery. This intricate dance of feedback ensures hormonal balance. Now, let's challenge your knowledge at the hard level. First, differentiate between the regulation mechanisms of hormone release from the anterior and posterior pituitary. Second, explain how negative feedback regulates the secretion of thyroid-stimulating hormone. Third, what are the specific hypothalamic hormones that control the release of FSH and LH from the anterior pituitary? Fourth, describe the symptoms and cause of diabetes insipidus. Fifth, compare and contrast gigantism and acromegaly in terms of their cause and manifestation. Sixth, name the neurosecretory nuclei in the hypothalamus responsible for synthesizing posterior pituitary hormones. And finally, provide an example of a positive feedback loop involving a pituitary hormone. All right, future neuroendocrinologists. Prepare to dive into the most challenging and detailed aspects of the pituitary gland. This is where competitive insights truly shine. The pituitary gland's fascinating dual nature is rooted in its distinct embryological origins. The anterior pituitary, or adenohypophysis, actually develops from an upward ectodermal outpocketing of the primitive oral cavity, known as Rathke's pouch. This explains its glandular, epithelial structure. Conversely, the posterior pituitary, or neurohypophysis, originates as a downward growth of neuroectoderm from the floor of the diencephalon, which is part of the developing brain. This neural derivation clarifies its direct anatomical and functional connection to the hypothalamus, acting as an extension of the central nervous system. Understanding this embryology is key to grasping the fundamental differences in their structure and regulatory mechanisms. At the molecular level, most pituitary hormones, being peptides or proteins, exert their effects by binding to specific G-protein-coupled receptors, or GPCRs, located on the surface of target cells. Upon hormone binding, these receptors activate intracellular second messenger systems, such as cyclic AMP or the IP3 DAG pathway. This activation triggers a cascade of biochemical events within the cell, ultimately leading to changes in cell function, gene expression, or the synthesis and release of other hormones. For instance, TSH binding to thyroid cells activates the CAMP pathway, driving the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones. This intricate signaling ensures precise cellular responses to pituitary commands. A critical aspect of pituitary regulation is the pulsatile secretion of many hypothalamic and pituitary hormones, notably GnRH. Hormones are released in discrete bursts rather than continuously. This pulsatile pattern is vital for maintaining the sensitivity of hormone receptors on target cells. Continuous, non-pulsatile exposure to high hormone levels can lead to receptor downregulation, where the number of receptors on the cell surface decreases, making the cells less responsive. This principle is clinically exploited. For example, continuous administration of GnRH agonists can paradoxically inhibit gonadotropin release by desensitizing pituitary GnRH receptors, a strategy used in treating conditions like prostate cancer or endometriosis. Understanding this pulsatility is essential for both physiological insights and therapeutic interventions. Pituitary adenomas, which are benign tumors, represent a significant clinical challenge. They can either hypersecrete hormones, as seen in prolactinomas or somatotroph adenomas, or cause hyposecretion by compressing healthy pituitary tissue. Diagnosis involves a combination of advanced imaging, primarily MRI of the brain, to visualize the tumor, and dynamic endocrine testing. These tests include stimulation tests, like the GHRH stimulation test for growth hormone deficiency, or suppression tests, such as the oral glucose tolerance test for growth hormone excess. Treatment strategies range from medication, like dopamine agonists for prolactinomas, to surgical removal via a transsphenoidal approach, and sometimes radiation therapy. These sophisticated diagnostic and therapeutic approaches highlight the complex interplay between neuroanatomy and endocrine function. Let's tackle the toughest questions. First, explain the dual embryonic origin of the pituitary gland and how it relates to the functional differences between the anterior and posterior lobes. Second, describe the general molecular mechanism by which peptide hormones from the anterior pituitary exert their effects on target cells. Third, what is the significance of pulsatile hormone secretion, and what happens when continuous exposure to a hormone occurs? Fourth, how are pituitary adenomas diagnosed, and what are the main treatment modalities? Fifth, explain the role of higher brain centers in modulating pituitary hormone release, providing an example. Continuing with the challenging questions. Sixth, differentiate between functional and non-functional pituitary adenomas in terms of their clinical presentation. Seventh, discuss the implications of receptor downregulation in the context of therapeutic use of GnRH agonists. Eighth, how does the pituitary gland contribute to the body's overall metabolic regulation? Ninth, elaborate on the concept of neurosecretion in the context of posterior pituitary hormones. And finally, describe the specific structures involved in the transport of ADH and oxytocin from their synthesis site to their release site. And that concludes our in-depth exploration of the pituitary gland. From its fundamental role as the master gland to its intricate molecular mechanisms and clinical significance, we've covered a vast landscape of knowledge. We hope this journey has deepened your understanding and fueled your curiosity for biology. For more such comprehensive educational content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Keep learning, keep exploring, and excel in your NEET preparation. Thank you for joining us.